All right. Let's keep going on. Speaking of Pacific beating the Halifax Wanderers, we got to talk about Pacific, Mitch. They've scored 7 goals in their last 2 games. 4-4 against Vancouver, 3-2 here against Halifax. They went so long without scoring a goal. They were so hard to watch with the ball, but not anymore. Pacific games are suddenly fun again. And part of that, this week at least, when they played Halifax, is down to Yann Toualy. Mitch, are Pacific back?
I'm going to need more of a sample size, but Yann Toualy's definitely, I don't know if back is the word, but he's definitely emerging because this is a player who we've seen it for a couple of weeks where, we were starting to see him figure it out. Obviously, this is his first professional season coming from a CS San Hall program that we know the type of caliber of player that they produce. But this was a guy who was just starting to really show his confidence, starting to beat players off the ball, to create things in attack. And then a few weeks back, he scores that fantastic goal against Vancouver FC that should have stood as a winner, but instead the chaos of stoppage time took over that game.
Yeah.
But this week, again, we see him take that momentum and just continue it forward. And this is a guy who, he has all those dynamic abilities that are able to transform an attack where he's the guy that can beat a few players. And we've mentioned this a lot about Atletico Ottawa and what a David Rodriguez does for them with his dribbling ability. All of a sudden it opens up space for other players. And you see in this game the kind of space that a guy like Marco Bustos, where in past games, when you're playing Pacific, it's like, okay, let's lock up Bustos. We almost don't even need to worry about who he's passing to because, he led the league in chances created and they still weren't putting many of those chances in the back of the net. But now, okay, we got to worry about this Toualy guy who all of a sudden's, beating players for fun down the line. And, oh, shoot, where's Bustos now kind of thing? Like that, those things matter. And then, even other guys, Hurd, we've seen Endom from set pieces, like they're going to get more opportunities. Look, we'll have to see a little bit more consistency from this Pacific team and certainly from a guy like Toualy, but it's an exciting emergence for them because, this is the type of player that can break open an offense. And I'm really excited and enthused by what we've seen from him. And again, he just makes them so much more fun to watch with the way he plays football.
Yeah, absolutely. I am really glad that you brought up Bustos because I know that he's come under some criticism this year I don't think he's scored. He's got 3 assists though. And I really think that it's been a little harsh on him because, again, as you mentioned, he has led the league in chances created. He continues to do so. He's created 33. He's tied for 3rd in the league in passes into the final third with 211. He's first by a factor of almost 30 in passes into the box. Made 121 and nobody else has crested 100. Again, 3 assists, one of them on Saturday for Toualy. And I just think it's so important for him to have that target now, that player that is just making runs into the box. It's about that energy and pulling defenders away, making space. And as you mentioned, just kind of taking some of the attention off Bustos himself. I do think in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we are going to see Marco unleash one of those left-footed screamers, right? Because the opportunities are going to be more present now. Because he's, other teams cannot double team him anymore. It's not going to work because Toualy's there. And if he gets the ball to him, it's going in the net. So I think definitely a lot more to be positive about if you're Pacific this week. Halifax is a very tough team to play against. I know it's a long trip for them coming from the East Coast to Vancouver Island, but a bit of a we're back statement from Pacific, who have just had so many kind of dire moments this year where the ball just refuses to go into the net for them, or even when it does, they're conceding as well. And again, this was a back and forth game. They were losing at one point, but just the fact that Pacific feel like they're getting a little bit of that confidence back. We've talked about that confidence so many times, and it's been in the mud at times this year. It's back, I think, at least a little bit. And if that continues to grow, then suddenly we have more of a playoff race on our hands. Again, they'll be annoyed that York won because that was kind of an opportunity for them to get back in the mix. But that's the way she goes in football. You just have to keep focusing on yourself, and
14 games left to do it too.
Exactly, and certainly Pacific. I mean, they'll have more chances to play York specifically. So anyway, definitely Pacific worth keeping an eye on in the next couple of weeks, because if this is what they are now and this is more like their identity than maybe the first few months of the season, then they're a much more dangerous and more interesting team.